Well, today is one of the days that I kind of look forward to the least of the year. And that's because today I've got to gather up Cull cows and take them down to the sale. That's what's going on today on Farmertylerranch. So why is this one of my least favorite days? Well, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say that sometimes it's a little bit sad getting rid of some of these girls. You know, they've been out here for a long time and, you know, you kind of get to know them after a while. But the reality is I can't keep them all forever. And when they're no longer productive or they've got other issues, then the truth of it is they just got to go. And along with Cull cows today, I also need to sell my bull that I bought last winter. Now, some of you might be wondering, why would I be selling him already? Because we've only had him for one breeding season. Well, we've actually had him longer than one breeding season, but I've only owned him for one breeding season. So we've reached the point in time where if we keep him another year for breeding, he'll start breeding his own daughters, and we don't want that. So unfortunately, his time here is done as well. Okay, how about you? Okay, so the first cow I got back here is number 3. This is the mother of the blind calf that had to be euthanized earlier in the year, and the reason that she is going is partly because of that incident, but I want to elaborate a little bit on what I just said. So her calf had issues and you know, had to be put down, and there's really no way to know if she played any role in that or not. I mean, it's just impossible to say. It could be a genetic thing. Because she is so old and getting towards the end of her productive years, this is her year. So what I'm doing, what I found has worked well, is as I pull cows out of the herd, I'll just put them back here in the tub, and then that way I can leave all my gates open and bring the next one back. Big number 30. So this year she had a stillborn calf, and sorry, I just need to keep an eye on her while she's dancing around behind me. So her calf was a stillborn, and she's always just kind of had a bad attitude. So again, with the stillborn, we don't know, is that her fault? Was that environmental? What caused that? It's hard to say. But I know that when Grandpa was making the decisions, if anything ever had a stillbirth, he would send it down the road. So sometimes I let my compassion get in the way of that, but I think this year, just because she does kind of have a bad attitude, and you can see how big she is, if she gets a mind to want to go somewhere, she can pretty well go. So I think we're gonna send her down as well. Like a liar. The next cow I'm looking for is number 7, and I believe that she is the oldest one out here. Now, full disclosure, she did have a calf and raise it this year. There were no problems in that area, but the reason why I'm deciding to take her out of the herd is because, for one, she is so old. And as they get older, I notice she has a much tougher time maintaining body condition. She's more apt to come down with a limp. I think she's come down with a limp like the last 2 years. Turn here. Come on. I hope you're gonna try. Dang it. Hey. There we go. Couple of interesting things about this number 7 cow is, well, the first thing, if we go back, I don't even know how many years ago, but to get my start, you know, Grandpa already had cows, but as he was kind of getting out of it and I was getting into it, he gave me 6 cows one year and then 4 the next year, so that I had a total of 10. She was in that second group of 4, so she's the only one out of that group of 10 that's left. So that makes this one, you know, even a little bit more difficult. But what makes it easier is that out of all the cows out here, this is the only cow that's ever actually tried to attack me. So anytime I get a little nostalgic about keeping her, I just remember that day. Trick is keeping those 2 in while I catch her. Several years ago, number 7 was at the winter pasture, and when we were gathering them up to bring them back home, for some reason she got separated off of the main herd. So we caught the main herd, and then Max, the owner of the winter pasture, and I went back out on 4-wheelers to grab her, and there was something that she didn't like about that, and she tried to charge Max, she tried to charge me. I mean, it got to the point you couldn't even get close to her. She just would chase you off. So we ended up waiting and letting her settle down for a few hours and got all the rest of the cows hauled out of there. And by the afternoon, she had come up into the corrals on her own, and I think Max closed the gate on her, so we had her. But then came the time that I had to get her in the trailer, and I don't think I've ever been more scared jumping into a corral with a cow before. But everything worked out. She actually didn't try to attack me again in the corral, which I thought was kind of strange. But we got her loaded, but I'll never forget that. That cow was, she was mad. And she's never shown any signs of aggression since then, but she's never gone to the winter pasture since then either. I know I always talk about my number 20 cow as being my mean, crazy one, but in all honesty, she's never actually been aggressive towards me. She's just always been kind of skittish and flighty. But number 7, she's the one you gotta watch. All right, next cow. Laying down right here next to me is number 4. Now, number 4, she doesn't really have any real problems. The only thing is that she somehow got way off schedule, and she has her calf very late in the year. So this is bad for a couple of reasons. For one, fertility is heritable. So if I were to end up keeping any of her daughters, which I doubt because her calves would always be really small, but if I did, then I would be putting bad reproductive traits into the herd, and that's not something that I want to do. Oh, hey there. What's up? Haven't seen you for a while. Don't worry. You're not going anywhere. Buddy can stay. The other bad thing is that now when it comes time for me to sell and market these calves, her calf is going to be, you know, half the size of all the other ones, which means it won't be able to go into a pen lot. If I was to keep it for harvest, it would take a really long time to get to that weight. So it just doesn't really fit into the program with everything else that we're doing out here. So for that reason, I feel like I'm on a reality show. So for that reason, you gotta go. Pretty gentle today though, aren't you? Well, I'm getting down to, I need one more cow and then I'll grab the bull. And I'm kind of torn between red number 10 back here, and then you probably won't be able to see her, but black number 25 under the barn. Number 10 is awful old. She doesn't have a great bag, and she had twins this year. So I think she probably rebred because I haven't seen, you know, bulls or steers following her around. But sometimes when they have twins, that can mean problems for the following year. Not always. Sometimes they have twins and have no problems the next year. She cleaned out and everything was fine in that regard. So I think she'll probably be okay for at least another year. Like I said, she is getting old, but she still keeps pretty decent body condition. Number 25 has a pretty poor udder, and her conformation is just terrible. She's got a humpback. She's got, I mean, everything that doesn't look good on an Angus cow, she's got it. She's also probably every bit as old as number 10, and I think that just from a genetic standpoint that she's one that should probably go, because as long as her genetics are here, you know, they're here forever. So we need to try to cut those out when we can identify them. Yeah, you guys stay in there. Look, there's your friends. Come on. Hey, go back. No. Good job, Callie. Hey, let's go. Well, I'd swear you was a border collie cow. You know, for a retriever, that dog shows a lot of interest in chasing livestock. And I'm half tempted to like try to train her to do that. The only thing that I worry about is, you know, a border collie or any kind of herding dog, they understand how to stay low so that they don't get kicked. And a retriever doesn't get that. So I would be worried that for her own safety, I don't think this is a good job for her to do. I think she'd end up getting kicked in the face. But if she wants to work on the other side of the fence and bark at them when they ball up in the corner, I'm good with that. All right, well, that is it for cows. Now we gotta go get the big boy. The bull is old, and I have also noticed that when we first got him here, you guys might remember, in fact, it's in the opening, he just wanted to fight with the new bull. And what ended up happening is the new bull, well, let me go back. The new bull was interested in the girls, and my old bull was interested in fighting. So what would happen is the old bull would take cheap shots at the new one and kind of catch him off guard, until finally one day I saw the new bull had enough of this, and he turned around and they went at it. I wish I'd had a camera, although I don't even know if I would have put that on the internet, because it was pretty it was pretty intense. The new bull got him down on the ground and rolled him over a couple of times and kind of made his point, like, hey man, quit trying to fight me, because if I want to, I can take you down. Ever since that day, I have noticed that my bull more or less stays out of the herd. When they're all out there eating and grazing, he'll be up here laying under a shade tree. And that's fine, you know, the bulls aren't fighting, but the thing of it is, if he's up here laying under the tree, you know he's not breeding any cows. And the other thing is, he's not out there eating, and that's why his body condition looks so bad, because the new bull more or less kicked him out of the herd, hurt his feelings, and he won't go out there. He won't go out and eat unless he absolutely has to. So he's got some emotional damage as well. All right, big boy. Time to get up. Well, I noticed he's got a pretty significant limp there. I didn't notice that on the walk up here, so I don't know if he stepped on a rock wrong or something while he was walking up into the corral, but that's not what I want to see. I'm gonna go hook the trailer up and bring it back over here, and you know, we'll kind of see how he's doing. If he's walking real bad though, I'm not sure if I should try to take him today. Something for me to think about while I'm hooking the trailer up. I don't know who put all these round bales here and made it hard to turn around with the trailer. As it turned out, when I got back to the ranch with the trailer, I was able to get the bull into the trailer. He wasn't limping nearly as bad when I got back, so I don't know if he just stepped on something, or I don't know what happened, but it wasn't a lasting condition, so that was good. I generally wait until fall to take Cull cows to the sale for a couple of reasons. For one, because if the cows that I'm gonna take had calves, then I need to let those calves get old enough so that they can get along without mother. The other reason is that this time of year our grazing is kind of winding down. The grass doesn't grow and recover quite as well as it does earlier in the year when it's warmer and the days are longer. So now is the time to reduce pressure on the grass. If I can be strategic about this, I can extend my grazing by 1 or maybe even 2 weeks, which will put off feeding hay, which in turn will put me in a better position come spring, because the amount of hay that I need is very dependent on what the weather does in the springtime. So as much as I hate doing it, it's just one of those things that kind of has to be done. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.